Hi guys, welcome back to Beanie Composter. First of all, we want to give a congratulations to Jean, who's just got a new mini Hotbin composter, and she's now waiting a week to collect all the waste and that so she can get hers, up to the hatch, and so she's hot composting in a few days. But if you're like Jean and you're just starting out, what are you going to expect to get out of one of these things within 60 days of hot composting? Well, today you're going to find out. The last time I emptied this was about 60 days ago. Since that time I've had it, in the green, in the middle, or up high, in the 60s. If you look what we're at the moment, we've been at that sort of temperature most of the time, and really now, if you pan back a bit, we're full to the top, so it really needs emptying. So today I'm going to show you what 60-day compost looks like. Now, one issue I would say people have with the Hotbin composter is when it comes to emptying, it can collapse, it can be a bit messy, and I think that's where people get a bit fed up with it sometimes. We've got ours in at the side of the garage. We're not too particular about this area, but if you've got your Hotbin composter outside the back door on a nice patio, then I would say it would be good to invest in something like some tarpaulin, just like this. I got this one from the Poundland just for something else, but I've seen people laying them out to put the compost, let that go onto there, and then you can collect it up and it keeps everything nice and tidy. What I would say, wherever you're emptying yours, or you've got your Hotbin, I would say having a kneeling mat like one of these, or just a cheap foamy one, is quite essential, because it's not like you're emptying it standing up, you're going to be kneeling down, so therefore it's going to be much more comfortable if you've got something like this to lean on, with your knees, and then all the stuff that's coming out is going to be not going all over your knees and jeans or whatever you're wearing. So like the first time I done mine, I ended up having to half strip because I was covered in compost. Missy's loved it, but no one else did. It's the 22nd of May today. You wouldn't believe the amount of showers we're having. We've been in and out like a fiddler's elbow, so hopefully we'll be able to get this filmed today, and you'll see it all. But also what I would recommend is getting some good gloves, and not cotton ones that are gonna just absorb all the moisture from the Hotbin, from the compost. You want to have either marigolds on, or something that's gonna protect your hands from all the moisture. I'm not sure if the ant's nest is still there, but we'll find out in a minute. But this is how I empty mine, and I'll show you all the procedures I go through. So the tray that I collect the leachade, I'll get it right by the end of by the time I'm in my coffin. I undo the straps first. I just loosen them off, and then I just let them drop right to the bottom. And then I just use an old oven tray that just fits underneath, just to collect as much as I can. So you've got your two handles either side. You want to just gently pull it towards you, rocking it each side, and then that'll just come away. And then with your hatch door, make sure you put that somewhere safe, because you don't want the wind blowing it off, or you don't want to step back and tread on it and snap it in half, because that would be a disaster. So we still got the ant nest there, which we'll see how we go with that, but this is definitely ready. First thing I've noticed, someone's put a bit of foil in our compost. That's no good. This space is tighter than a duck's arse, so it's going to be quite difficult to film it. So you know, just bear with us, but I'll try and show you how, you know, how I empty this one. So I always use the raking stick to empty it because I just find that's the best tool for it. If you can't get a raking stick, then just get yourself a, you know, a mini roller, because they're only £1.25 from Toolstation. So first of all, I just attack one side and I just pull that out, you know, onto the tray. And I have, you know, a container ready for me to transfer it into. And you're going to notice like that, some stuff will just naturally start falling down. Don't worry about that, just literally keep attacking it from, you know, one side only. And with this raking stick, you've got the end there where you can push up like that and then just, you know, pull it out. So that's literally just going up like that and pulling out, so that way you've not got any risk of, you know, scoring or damaging your side. So once I've filled my, you know, bucket up, I just transfer that into a bigger separate bit for the time being until I've like literally emptied everything. When we're getting to the back, I use the raking stick, like pushing that on the edges and then just raking it out so you're not damaging it. And then just using that almost like a claw to, you know, to rake the stuff out. And if you're pushing this bit right to the back, you're not, you know, you're not going to damage your hot bin. And then once it's sort of a bit loose, I tend to put my hand, you know, in and just grab some out. And then with, you know, using that raking stick again, you know, using this bit on the bottom so you're not damaging it, you can rake that out. If it's coming out on camera, you'll sort of see that it's actually quite sticky, so it does actually clump together quite well, so it's not literally all collapsing in one go. And that's the sort of texture you want to have it, so it's not too wet but it's not mega dry that it's not all sticking together. And then with this again, I'm using the top bit there just to sort of, you know, pull some bits from a little bit at the top and the back, just to pull that out again, and getting right to the back with your corner bit such as this on the corner, and then just raking that out again. So once I've got one side cleared like that, then I always, with your raking stick, I always check the holes. You know, they should be, you know, nice and clear, but I just do that, you know, out of OCD or whatever it is, just to make sure the air is definitely going through. I just double check that they're not blocked. Next part I attack is just like this little front bit here, and then I go down this side this time. Well, look at that. That is a massive ant nest in there. So we've got a massive ant's nest in here, which is not ideal because, you know, I don't enjoy the ants like going all over me, but we're just gonna carry on as normal and try not to worry about it too much. So we're going down the other side now, doing the same principle, just raking it out and using your raking stick to, you know, just claw it out. Out of all the 3 years I've owned this and emptied it, this is probably the worst ant's nest I've had. So it may just be because of the weather this year. I haven't really had them like this before, so don't let this put you off. So I'm going right to the back again with the raking stick and just getting as much... Ah, fuck's sake, I just got bitten. Man, we're gonna have to stop this video. I'm getting bitten like crazy. Oh, man. Yeah, this is, people say that ants don't bite, but I can guarantee you that they do. Bastards. It's not funny. Okay, amid the, you know, biting ants, we've got most of this side out as well. Let's be honest, if someone came in my house and disturbed it, I wouldn't be too happy. So you can't, you know, you've got to forgive nature, haven't you? So now I just gently take off, you know, a bit more, you know, gradually chipping away at it and pulling it out. And I'm just chipping, you know, bits off the top now that look like they're done. So at the moment we've got almost like a funnel effect there where that middle bit's holding it all up, and I'm just literally chipping bits off, you know, the top there. You know, you'll get that happen where it'll collapse, but as long as you got that centerpiece holding it up, you know, that should hold it together for a while. So I'm just, you know, trying to get as much out of the top as possible, you know, by just gently raking it, and then each time, you know, just pulling that out. So I'm just taking out, you know, from that funnel bits from behind a bit at right and at the top. So I'm just raking gently bits that are just gonna naturally fall down, and I can judge by, you know, what's coming down, as in there's no, you know, there's bits of paper there that hasn't decomposed, but I think that's just some plastic from, you know, the missus' friend that gave us all that shredded paper, because this time I've seen quite a bit of plastic in here, which isn't, you know, ideal, but that is the risk you take when you ask friends and, you know, family for shredded paper. In the middle, where you've got that, you know, probably the hottest bit, you'll get stuff sometimes coming out. If you've had your Hotbin working really well and it's really hot, you'll get stuff that comes out that looks just like, almost like charcoal-y sort of ash that's from a barbecue. So that just shows you how hot it is getting in there. You know, that's like right in the middle. If it's running really, really well and you empty it and you've had like there, you'll get in the middle bit, you'll get bits that look like they've come out of, you know, almost like out of a bottom of a barbecue when you've, you know, had the barbecue and used it. Don't worry about that, that just means your Hotbin was working really well. So I go to the other side again and take, you know, off the top again. you know, and every time I'm sort of chipping away at the back and the top, I'm just checking that it's definitely, you know, still ready. And then what I mean is, you know, stuff that's falling down is all decomposed and it's, you know, not gonna, you know, get any hotter or compost anymore. So if I was like literally pulling this with this, and then, you know, you're getting paper and cardboard that's falling down, you know, vegetable peelings that are falling down, and you can see they're not even, you know, decomposed, then that's the time to sort of, you know, say I've got enough out, and you need to start putting all that stuff back in, you know, the top, and you've pretty much got out everything you can that's decomposed or composted down, I mean. In the centre, that's what I mean. Looks like just bulking agent or ash stuff you would get out of the bottom of your barbecue when you've, you know, finished with it. So don't worry about that. That just means your hot bin is working really well and the temperature's been, you know, hot in there. I don't know how many times I've been bitten, but if I'd have got a subscription for every time I've been bitten today by these ants, we'd be probably into like 1,000 subscribers. If the camera will focus, you can see we've got a small amount of that core bit there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to make sure, you know, before I go any further, I'm going to just test them holes, just check you know, they've got the air vents still working, they're not blocked. It's not normally this difficult emptying this, but you know, trying to film it isn't easy. Plus I'm getting bitten by these ants at, you know, a crazy rate. So this middle bit, just try to take, you know, as much as you can out, you know, keeping it, you know, as slim. It should start to look like you know, when you go into your kebab shop, you've got that big tall piece of meat that they carve the meat off. That's what you want this to look like at the end, like the end of that doner kebab thing. So you're just left with a skinny bit in the centre. Ah, another one. When you've got to this stage and you've got just the core bit and you think that's about as far as you can go without it all collapsing, this is the time I would say to keep things nice and tidy. Put your hatch back on, tie it all up and call it a day. That bit in the centre will just disperse as you mix it in and carry on composting. What you're going to see now is if you carry on chipping away at it, how it will suddenly just all collapse and you'll have mess everywhere. If you do try to take too much out, this is exactly what's going to happen, which you don't want. You'll just have mess everywhere. So what I suggest is just get it to that stage where I had it, where you've got the tiny bit at the centre. As soon as you can see it starting to, you know, come down, that's the time you want to just get your hatch back on. If it is your first time emptying the hot bin composter, and you know this does all collapse on you, then you don't need to worry. All you need to do is tidy up all this part here, clean it off, get the hatch back on, and then you can introduce all this waste here back into the hot bin. if this has happened to you and you've got, you know, everything's collapsed, then just clean up all around here so you've got no, you know, bits of debris that are gonna damage your hatch lid. With your lid, you want to clean off all the sides as well, so just make sure, you know, they're nice and clean and they've got no debris on them as well. You can hose that down if you want to, but it's not necessary. All you need to do is just get a cloth and make sure, you know, all the edges are nice and, you know, clean. Then we're going to just gently introduce the hatch back the same way it came off. You just slide it gently. Make sure, you know, nice and sealed. So put the cam straps back on nice and tight so that holds the door in. If we open up, you know, we've emptied an awful lot there today. And then we've got all the stuff that's, you know, collapsed out. If this does happen to you, just introduce that all back in and just give that a stir in each time. It goes without saying, after you've emptied your hot bin and, you know, put everything back, give it a good tidy up around it. Make sure there's no food debris. Make sure, you know, it's, you know, nice and tidy. Then that way you're not going to attract any vermin or, you know, pests or rodents. So that's one thing I'd make sure you do every time you clear up, is just make sure it's nice and spotless. If you have a look inside now, we're in, you know, we're back up to 60 degrees, almost plus, and the ants that are in there, I'm pretty sure they'll just get sort of steamed off tonight, and hopefully that will solve the ant problem. Show you just how much we have taken out today. So we've got a massive, you know, massive plastic container worth full there, and we've also got, you know, a bag and this truck full of, you know, compost. So that's what 60-day compost is looking like. I'm gonna let that dry out for a bit in, you know, better weather. So this is what you're gonna have with 60-day compost if you follow all the guidelines and you keep yours in the green, as in hot composting. That's what you could end up with in 60 days. The main points I would take away from today's, you know, emptying the hot bin would be, make sure you're well prepared, so you've got all your, you know, your tray and that ready. As you're emptying it, once you get to that core stage where you've got the middle bit left, and you can see, you know, if you think, oh, if I take a bit more out now it's going to collapse, that's the time to leave it, put your hatch back on, tie it all up, and then you're not going to have it all collapse out over your, you know, patio or wherever you're doing it from. But if it does so happens that it does all collapse and falls out, it's not really a big issue. You can do what I've done today, just put it all back in, and you saw the temperatures right up again, and that's going to cause your hot bin to keep working really well. So a few people on the channel have asked me what I do with my compost once I've emptied it. Well, normally I just put it into, you know, old garden compost bags, and I just store that until I require it, and for me that works really well. You can store it for, you know, however many months you want. So I hope this really helps you out today. Don't forget to subscribe. The missus is saying it's 5:30, we need to eat, so I've got to have a shower and swap into Beanie Chef and cook for the other channel. Until next time, happy composting and enjoy.